So Donald Trump went to go have a summit with Vladimir Putin. He did this in Helsinki, and right before he went, he began the tweeting. Now, you know that there was just indictments handed out by Special Counsel Robert Mueller saying that yes, in fact, the DNC, the Hillary Clinton's campaign, John Podesta, et cetera, were hacked by 12 Russian agents. And all the Republicans and officially the White House has acknowledged, yes, that's true. They didn't say that they cooperated with Donald Trump or that Donald Trump cooperated with them, but the Russians did do it, no question about it. Well, Trump nonetheless tweets, "Our relationship with Russia has never been worse, thanks to many years of US foolishness and stupidity, and now the rigged witch hunt." Look, you can defend yourself and say, hey, I didn't do it. This report says the Russians interfered, but I didn't talk to them and I didn't ask them to interfere. He kind of did so publicly, but you could at least say that that was joking, right? But no, he says the whole investigation is foolishness and stupidity. The investigation was not just about did they do social media and fake news and Facebook, et cetera. No, it was also, and the stealing of the emails, et cetera. But they also tried to get into our voter databases. That's messing with our actual votes. Luckily, they didn't make it in as far as we know. The investigation says, but they tried. They tried to get into the voter databases in a huge number of states. And so shouldn't you be concerned about that? What if they get in next time and rig the vote against you? What if they rig it against your party, or what if the Chinese come in and rig it even better? Like, this is something that is obviously should be a concern to the President of the United States and our national security and our democracy. But he's like, no, it's foolishness and stupidity. Do you represent us or not? So what does Russia do? They're almost trolling, they're like laughing. Look at the puppet that we have. So they retweet what Trump did and they add, "We agree." Well, I'm glad that his boss agrees. He must be so proud. Russia interferes in our election, not just with stupid tweets, but tries to break into the voter data and to the ballot box. And Trump's like, oh, it's our fault, it's our fault. What happened? I thought you didn't like apology tours. Oh, you didn't like it, wait till you get a load of this one. They meet for 2 hours. First of all, when the Trump team is asked, what is the meeting about? They literally say, the leaders will decide that once they're in the meeting. You're gonna go meet with, whether you consider them ally, foe, something in between. You're gonna meet with one of the most important leaders in the world and you have no agenda? No, that means you have an agenda you don't want to tell us about. So God knows what was said in that room, because it was just the two of them with interpreters, and that's it. Because Trump did not want anyone else to hear what was going on. So they come out and do a press conference afterwards and it gets way worse. So let's begin the madness. First, a journalist asked him about the tweets. Let's watch.
Mr. President, you tweeted this morning that it's US foolishness, stupidity, and the Mueller probe that is responsible for the decline in US relations with Russia. Do you hold Russia at all accountable for anything in particular? And if so, what would you consider them that they are responsible for?
So excellent question. You know, you call it a witch hunt, foolishness, stupidity. Just give me an opportunity here to say, hey, yeah, but I am a little concerned about this. At least a little? Or let's see what his answer is.
Yes, I do. I hold both countries responsible. I think that the United States has been foolish. I think we've all been foolish. We should have had this dialogue a long time ago. A long time, frankly, before I got to office. And I think we're all to blame. I think that the United States now has stepped forward along with Russia, and we're getting together, and we have a chance to do some great things.
We're all to blame? Could you imagine if the Russians were accused of breaking into Republican emails and into the voter boxes to help Hillary Clinton? And Hillary Clinton came out and said, I don't know, I guess we're all to blame. I mean, yes, America's been very foolish. And if the Russians tried to rig an election, I guess it's also America's fault. Heads would have exploded. It would have exploded. And by the way, to be fair, they're exploding today. Even a lot of conservatives are speaking out, saying, John McCain saying it's the low point for the American presidency. Former Congressman Joe Walsh, deeply right wing. He's super proud of being Tea Party. He says, that's it, I'm never gonna support Trump again. This is borderline traitorous activity. I don't think he even included the word borderline. So you're gonna blame America first? That's amazing, that's amazing. But we're just getting started, here's more.
I do feel that we have both made some mistakes. I think that the probe is a disaster for our country. I think it's kept us apart. It's kept us separated. There was no collusion at all. Everybody knows it. People are being brought out to the fore.
The probe was a disaster. The probe concluded that the Russians did in fact meddle in our elections. Every single intelligence agency agrees. A grand jury just indicted based on that information. For 1 second, put yourself aside. Even if you're the narcissist that you are, Donald Trump, they're asking you a question about, do you think they try to interfere with the votes? Something that couldn't be more fundamental to our democracy. I think it's foolishness, and the probe's a witch hunt. So, okay, you're basically saying, yeah, go for it. Anytime you want, come in, do anything you like to our elections, have at it. Russia, not only you, but everybody else that wants to. I'm not gonna do anything about it. I'm not gonna protect American democracy. You're right there with them in a press conference for the whole world to see. Pathetic, absolutely pathetic. More.
So far that I know, virtually none of it related to the campaign, and they're gonna have to try really hard to find somebody that did relate to the campaign. That was a clean campaign. I beat Hillary Clinton easily, and frankly, we beat her, and I'm not even saying from the standpoint, we won that race, and it's a shame that there can even be a little bit of a cloud over it. People know that, people understand it, but the main thing, and we discussed this also, is zero collusion, and it has had a negative impact upon the relationship of the two largest nuclear powers in the world. We have 90% of nuclear power between the two countries. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what's going on with the probe.
The probe concluded, just divorced from you, it concluded that Russia was trying to actually hack into our votes. And he said it was a disaster for our country. Not that Russia was hacking in, but that we revealed that Russia was hacking in. He said, well, now it's hurt our relationship because we found out that they were trying to subvert our democracy. Well, I don't want that to hurt our relationship. Should we have kept it hidden? Yes, he says you should have never done the probe. You have done a great job of serving Putin. You must be so proud. And I know that there are voices on the whatever left. I mean, they think they're the most progressive. They're not. They're just the most, if you ask me, the most irrational. And there are clearly a lot of voices on the right who are like, oh no. No, if you criticize Russia, that means you want World War III. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I don't want any hostilities. I want them to have summits, but I don't want our president to go out there and go, you trying to take away our democracy, bravo, it was our fault. I apologize, I deeply apologize. What happened? I thought he was an alpha male for the right wingers. Turns out he's a beta. Turns out he's getting cucked by Putin on television in front of the whole world. Oh, I'm sorry for doing the probe. I'm sorry for doing the probe. Just interfere anytime you like, yes, sir. It doesn't mean we want us to do military action against Russia. Doesn't mean we want World War III. It just means, hey, can you take some sort of corrective action so that our democracy is not in danger by the Russians or anyone else? Or what's your proposal? What's the alternative? We just do nothing. We just go, oh, okay, great. Hey, anyone you like, Saudi Arabia, whoever, it's open season. Just come in and try to get all of our voter databases. Have fun. Okay, more of this insanity.
A reason why the Democrats lost an election, which frankly, they should have been able to win because the Electoral College is much more advantageous for Democrats, as you know, than it is to Republicans. We won the Electoral College by a lot, 306 to 223, I believe. And that was a well-fought battle. We did a great job. And frankly, I'm going to let the president speak to the second part of your question, but just to say it one time again, and I say it all the time, there was no collusion. I didn't know the president. There was nobody to collude with. There was no collusion with the campaign. And every time you hear all of these, 12 and 14, it's stuff that has nothing to do, and frankly, they admit, these are not people involved in the campaign. But to the average reader out there, they're saying, well, maybe that does. It doesn't. And even the people involved, some perhaps told misstories, although in one case the FBI said there was no lie. There was no lie. Somebody else said there was. We ran a brilliant campaign, and that's why I'm president. Thank you.
Putin's got to be thinking, how did I get this lucky? Okay, I got this schmuck over here defending me to no end. I don't even have to say anything. Here, American president, tell us why the Russian interference was awesome. Great, yes, I ran a great election. It was so fantastic. Don't worry about the Russians at all and them trying to interfere with our democracy. Who cares? I had 306, I did a great job. The Russians are great. We're trying to have a great alliance with them. Putin's like, continue. Okay, all right, now we're gonna get into even more interesting stuff. Watch this.
Did you want President Trump to win the election, and did you direct any of your officials to help him do that?
Да, я хотел, чтобы он выиграл. Yes, I did. Because he talked about bringing the US-Russia relationship back to normal.
Question by a reporter, did you want Donald Trump to win? Putin with at least a clear answer. Yes, I did. I wanted Trump to win. And look at that, lo and behold, Trump did win. Now, again, it has not been proven that that was determinative. I think that the social media that the Russians did is a little overhyped. But the election was so close, almost everything was determinative. This is Putin going like, what are you gonna do about it? I have your president right next to me. I control him completely. He's doing my talking points for me. Yeah, I wanted him to win, and I got it. I'm tough and I'm strong, this is my beta, okay? And so, I'm just gonna tell you I did. There's no consequences, got you. Okay, we continue.
Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every US intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. My first question for you, sir, is who do you believe? My second question is, would you now, with the whole world watching, tell President Putin, would you denounce what happened in 2016, and would you warn him to never do it again?
So great question, obvious question, very clear, and a really easy answer. Even if you want to obfuscate, it's easy to do it. Is he gonna take it? Of course not, watch.
So let me just say that we have two thoughts. You have groups that are wondering why the FBI never took the server. Haven't they taken the server? Why was the FBI told to leave the office of the Democratic National Committee? I've been wondering that. I've been asking that for months and months, and I've been tweeting it out and calling it out on social media. Where is the server? I want to know, where is the server and what is the server saying? With that being said, all I can do is ask the question. My people came to me, Dan Coates came to me and some others, they said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin, he just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be, but I really do want to see the server. But I have confidence in both parties.
You say you're tough, you say you call out Russia, so great, here's an opportunity. We're not saying start any hostilities, we're just saying he's right there. Can you say, hey, we find what you did to be problematic? Hillary's server. Hillary's server, what are you talking about, Hillary? He's right there. Do you hold him accountable at all? You know, I just asked the question. No, as president, you don't just ask a question. So if we were up against Hitler, I'm not saying that Putin is Hitler, I'm just using an analogy. If we're up against Hitler and Neville Chamberlain goes in and goes, hey, Hitler, do you have any intention of taking Poland? And he says no. Okay, he denies it, he strongly denies it. My job is just to ask questions. Look, I don't want war, okay? And I want diplomacy. But your job as president of the United States is not just to ask questions and go, oh, I guess he said so, it must be true. Sometimes people like Kim Jong-un, who's a dictator, runs concentration camps, lies to you. Ooh, even if you thought he was an honest actor. Okay, even if you think he's not in the back pocket of Russia, then he's monumentally stupid. Like, oh, I don't know, Putin is a guy who was former KGB spy, obviously incredibly sophisticated. There are instances where we have some alliances. There are places where we disagree, but obviously I'm going to be careful with this guy. No, I just asked him the question and he says he didn't do it. He says it's, and so I don't know why they say that it might be Russia, but I don't know why it would be Russia. Over the top, man, over the top. So, okay, there he is in the press conference, not holding Putin accountable, saying he doubts the entire intelligence community and everybody, including the Republican Party. He doubts every single part of the United States government, but the Russian government he believes. We have an American president who says the American government is foolish, stupid, totally wrong. The Russian government that tried to interfere in our democracy is wonderful. I believe them, I don't believe us. If a Democratic president had done that, my God, the fury, the hearings, the etc. Best case scenario is he's a childish buffoon of a man. But I believe that is true, but I believe that it is also obvious. It's so obvious. The only reason that if you don't acknowledge it, is because you don't want to see it. You have blinders on. No, I think I would have gone up there and said, oh, Russia's wonderful. They should hack into our elections all the time. It's great. Oh yeah, we're the idiots. They're wonderful though. But me in his back pocket, no, fully independent. How could you not see it? All right. So we're not done yet, almost there, okay? So wait till you get a load of this one, watch.
But I don't think it can go on without finding out what happened to the server. What happened to the servers of the Pakistani gentleman that worked on the DNC? Where are those servers? They're missing. Where are they? What happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? 33,000 emails, gone, just gone. I think in Russia they wouldn't be gone so easily. I think it's a disgrace that we can't get Hillary Clinton's 33,000 emails. So I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today. And what he did is an incredible offer. He offered to have the people working on the case come and work with their investigators with respect to the 12 people. I think that's an incredible offer.
An incredible offer. Putin offered to put spies in the middle of our investigation of him. What an incredible offer. What an incredible offer. If you don't think he's corrupt, then you have to conclude he's the dumbest person we've ever had as president. I mean, this guy I'm investigating and my agencies are, and he says he'd like to put in agents that help that investigation. What a wonderful offer. Congratulations, MAGA guys. Your best case scenario is your president is, forget one of the dumbest presidents, probably the dumbest guy ever elected into office. The reality is he's both corrupt and doesn't know how to cover up because he is that dumb. It's both, the answer is both. But wait till you get a load of Putin at the end rubbing it in. They ask him, do you have compromising information on Trump? If he didn't control him completely and he was slightly nervous and he didn't have him in a GIMP outfit, he would say, no, that's ridiculous. He never says no, watch.
Does the Russian government have any compromising material on President Trump or his family?
And now to the compromising material. Yeah, I did heard these rumors that we allegedly collected compromising material on Mr. Trump when he was visiting Moscow. Well, distinguished colleague, let me tell you this. When President Trump visited Moscow back then, I didn't even know that he was in Moscow. I treat President Trump with utmost respect. But back then, when he was a private individual, a businessman, nobody informed me that he was in Moscow.
He didn't say no. He said, yeah, I heard those rumors. I didn't even know he was in Moscow. Was he in Moscow? How simple is it to say, no, that's ridiculous. Of course we don't have compromising information on the US president. What a preposterous question, right? Oh, I heard that. With that nice little smile of, what are you gonna do about it? I own your president. There's nothing you could do about it. That's him rubbing it in. Later, for good measure, he brought in George Soros. Not Trump, Putin did. Sprinkling a little anti-Semitism. He's like, how do you know Soros didn't meddle in the elections? He said, and in an earlier interview with Megyn Kelly, he had said, maybe it was the Jews in Russia that did it. So in case you weren't sure about the anti-Semitism. Why does he say that? He's like, well, it wasn't me. And on top of that, I'll get some more right-wing votes in Russia. And we use the same trick. We run against the others, people who can easily be scapegoated, whether they're Muslims, whether they're Jews, whatever it might be. But hey, squirrel, look away. Don't look at the real problem. And get a load of how ridiculous that is. I mean, to talk about rubbing it in. Putin's thesis is maybe George Soros interfered in the election to help elect Donald Trump, but Soros, you say, is the most liberal guy there is. Why would he help Donald Trump? It doesn't have to make sense. We just have to scapegoat someone and move on with our lives. Because what difference does it make? The US is never going to hold us accountable. You had every opportunity to, and you didn't, because I control your president. At least now we know. Young Turks. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.